I'm here with Dwayne Bevell, and I know nothing about shad fishing, Dwayne, so I need to know, one, like, can I stop at any of these little creeks along the way,
right?
Including the Neuse River?
The Neuse River.
Okay. And what to use?
Okay, the shad run up and spawn this time of year. The old school way of looking at it is the dogwoods are blooming, your shad are moving into spawn.
Okay.
So they move up in the major river tributaries, major rivers. They move up Tar River, Neuse, Cape Fear.
Yeah.
And they come up to spawn. They're really not hitting on anything to eat it because they are in the spawning mode. It's more of a reactionary strike. A lot of people like Little River comes up into here. Anytime you go find a water change where it's going from muddy to clear, what we call the mud line,
okay,
those fish hold up right up in there. It's also where it's kind of
Is there any of that right now after all the rain you've had?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
That's coming out of the smaller creeks.
Okay, so the smaller creeks will be clear.
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll see it come out, and you'll see that mud line there. It's usually pretty obvious.
Okay.
That's where you'll target them the most. Depending on where you are and the water clarity depends on the colors you want to throw. Most people actually throw the old nun-guesser. It's pre-made rig. You can see a dart and a spoon.
Okay.
Most of your fish you catch come off the dart. The spoon is just to attack them. The spoon wobbles.
And
so you
brings them
strikes.
to it.
You'll have bumps, and you can catch them on the spoon, but most of them come off the dart.
Okay, so let's grab one of those. We'll get one of those for sure.
That's red. That's a good color now. You do, like you said, we haven't had a lot of rain, so the muddier the water is, more tainted it is, the darker your colors need to be.
Okay.
Those fish see the actual shadow. A lot of people think it's backwards. They want to go with clearer colors when it's been raining, but no, the light goes through it. They don't see it as well.
Okay.
And that's for any kind of fish, from shad to offshore to bass to trout. That's any kind of fish. Cloudy days, your gold spoons work better. Clearer, sunshinier days, your silver spoons work better.
So I'm going fishing today right after I leave here.
I would go with the gold spoon right here.
Okay.
All right, these are made by Honey Hole. They're right down the road from us.
Oh, okay. So that's a local company.
That's a local out of Walstenburg, North Carolina.
Nice. Okay.
And they've actually got some pre-rigs here too. This is not seeing the end of the season, but we had our annual shad tournament 2 weekends ago. So my walls have been run rampant. I've still got more coming in to keep everybody on the water, but we've been hit pretty hard on our walls.
Do you know how they did with the shad tournament?
Oh yeah, we did great.
Okay.
We did great. I think the biggest white we weighed in was 3.8.
Okay.
That's a big American or white shad. You can keep one of those in your creel. You can keep 10 fish total. 10 of them can be hickory, or 9 can be hickory and 1 white. And the way you look at those fish to determine what they are is the overbite. You can look at their nose and tell if they're hickory or white.
So I'll need to know that before I go fishing today.
But also your white or American are bigger.
Okay. The hickories are smaller?
Hickories are smaller.
Do the hickories have a little color to them
Just a
as
little
well?
bit more, but it can be really hard sometimes
to tell color?
Okay.
Okay.
And we do our tournament. I've got a couple of guys who are local who help me with the tournament. If there's any question, we will call them up and ask them, and we'll get a round robin kind of answer.
Okay.
Because we do the biggest hickories, the biggest whites, and we do a creel of 10 as well in our tournament. So
Okay.
we're fishing for them all out there.
Nice.
And the kids are fishing for the smallest, with a free entry into the tournament. That's kind of neat. But a lot of people also fish. You'll see this one's kind of rigged like this already.
Okay.
We talked about the darts. There's a shad dart on this rig,
which are
these.
Okay.
Shad darts are great. They're heavier. That is, I want to say, the older school way, but that's been always the way to fish for shad.
Okay.
People have started putting on crappie jigs.
Okay.
Or crappie, depending on where you're from.
Okay.
And they've started using smaller 2-inch grubs. All right, and this is easier. So if you decide that the fish are hitting a certain color,
you can swap.
You can swap out with a whole bag of grubs. A lot of people tie their own too, and they just run 2 grubs, and maybe 2 grubs and a spoon. That's why this is all here. People like to tie their own.
So when I see people, like we saw some people trolling the other day, slow trolling in the Neuse.
Right.
Is that more what they're probably fishing for?
They're probably fishing these more, and with the current of the river, they're really moving slow, and they're just putting along and letting the river do the fishing for them.
Okay.
And you can catch them that way as well.
Okay.
Most of the time, the guys on the boats are trying to fish where the guys on the bank are fishing.
Okay.
Because they come in, if you got a scoop in the river, they'll come in and they'll hold up here in the scoop.
Okay.
And that's where your guys on your bank are hitting them really good up on the bank in the deeper water.
The scoop.
It churns out.
Okay.
So if you're on a boat, you're competing with those guys on the bank who are already in the spot.
Okay.
But you give them leeway because they can't go anywhere else. If you're on a
know.
boat, you can kind of motor on down.
I know,
Go somewhere else.
yeah.
But you'll
yeah.
find them a lot of time right up on the bank, and that's where most of your fish will run off of, is right on the bank.
Oh. That broken hand. That broken hand is being a pain.
Gotcha. Yeah, your pet spoons.
Okay.
Pet spoons are really good. They've been around for years. We had Hurricane Matthew come through. They don't make them anymore. Matthew came through 3 years ago.
And took the company out, or?
No, but these just kind of survived the flood.
Okay.
And we still have them out here for sale because they don't make a lot of the colors that they used to anymore.
Okay.
So we've got baits here that nobody else has.
Gotcha.
This nunguesser with the red tail on it. We had overstock in that. We're still able to pull it out, but it's not a produced bait anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, bigger spoons. Everybody's got their own little knack, own little niche they want to throw.
I gotcha.
But for the most part, if you get into a school of shad, because they do come through in schools, and you start catching, you're going to catch shad.
Okay.
Regardless of what color. Now, the guy beside you might be catching more than you, and you kind of look over and see.
It's kind of like trout fishing then sometimes when you're throwing jigs for trout.
Very much
one
like
guy will
speckled
catch a
trout.
bunch, and
Right.
everyone else catches one here or there.
Right.
Okay. Nun chasers. Nice.
Now, the next big season that will come in will be striper, rockfish. They'll
Okay.
come in after the shad.
Okay.
You can catch them this far up the river. Most people use cut bait, which is usually cut shad.
Oh, you catch them this far up the river?
Absolutely. You'll fish for them like you're fishing for catfish.
Okay.
And sometimes you can throw bucktails too if you get towards a dam. And there is a local dam here, but it's only accessible by boat. And
Okay.
you got to know the waters to get past one of the bridges because it's really shallow.
I think that's the one that I heard about, like up towards the fish ponds, they called it.
Yeah, this one's right up the road, right?
Okay.
And it's just,
Okay.
and it's rocks, and there's a reason they're called rockfish because they get stuck there on the dams.
I gotcha.
And we do have opportunity to go out with wildlife and shock the waters. And when you pull up there and start shocking for rockfish or striper, 30 of them will pop up.
Really?
So they get there and they get stuck.
Okay.
Now there's also
Are they at the base of the dam, at the bottom?
base of the dam.
Okay, and they can't get up and
You
through.
can throw bucktails for them there and catch them.
Okay.
You lose a lot of baits there throwing
In
it
the
that way.
rocks, yeah.
But for the most part, people take these shad that we're catching here. Some people eat them.
Okay.
I'm not that guy. There's a McDonald's up the road. I'm
They
not gonna eat
freeze
shad.
them and they use them for bait,
Most
right?
people use them for baits.
Catfish and
And after the
rockfish.
tournament, I open up because we keep the fish unless you want them. Most
Okay.
people don't want them, and all my catfishermen come up here and grab the shad for the next season
Ah, okay.
for catfish and rock.
Nice.
And then obviously you got catfish in here too, and that's like I said, and we always have a tournament too. It's our
Okay.
5th annual Easy 3.
When is
Go
that
down.
coming up?
That is coming up. I just announced it yesterday, July 1st through August the 31st.
Oh, so it's a longer tournament.
So for
How does
2
that
months,
work?
You pay $50, and for 2 months, you come in here and you weigh in fish. Big fish, little fish, you can only bring in 5 fish at a time. Once you weigh in a fish, it becomes our property because we want the fish to be alive and healthy. If you kill a fish, it's disqualified.
Okay, so it needs to be alive when you
Gotta
bring
be
it in
alive
to
and
weigh it.
healthy. We've got a tank we put out front for the local residents to come by and see, and they don't realize that they're driving up and down and over top of these.
It's hard to believe how long the catfish, like I had one time I caught, and I wanted my dad to see it. I was young enough. So it was a 18-pound blue cat. I put it in a trash bag. I took it home from the local pay lake. I put it in his bathtub, which he was adamant about how clean his bathtub
Right.
had to be.
Yeah,
So it was not a good deal, but
Yeah.
he got home, he looked at the fish, he said, "William, that's a beautiful fish. Can you get it out of my
Get it out of
tub?"
the tub, right?
We put it back in a trash bag, took it back to the lake, and let it go. Like a 30-minute drive each way, and the fish swam off just fine.
Right.
So you can weigh beautiful fish and take them back and let them go. And
Most of our guys have tanks
okay,
that they keep them in, but there's a crew of guys. All they do is catfish tournaments on Fridays.
okay,
And you'll see them at local boat ramps. They'll come in, they'll put money in the pot, they'll go out that night or that day, and they'll come back and weigh them in.
nice. Okay,
And if you fish one of those tournaments and you're entered in mine, as long as you've been registered for 72 hours, we want you to fish our tournament, not go catch a big fish, then come here and say, "I want to pay my $50."
I got you, yes.
70-pound flathead.
yeah.
It's still admissible in my tournament.
Okay,
But we do the top 5 biggest fish, and then we do what's called a wildcat challenge.
okay,
So every month before the season starts, before the tournament starts, I go back into my office and I write down 2 weights.
okay. So just like
So in
the
July,
quick guess of the weight.
right?
Yeah.
Well, July, I might say, all right, my fish wants to be 8.2 pounds.
Okay. Closest
Whoever brings
person.
in an 8.2 pound catfish wins a prize.
Okay.
All right, and then the next month I do it again. So I have 2 wildcats and I have 5 big fish. But this way I get to see the smaller fish as well as the
Bigger
larger
fish
come in.
because people want to weigh them because they might hit that special weight.
That's right. That's right.
Okay,
And,
nice.
there was 2 or 3 years ago I was tagging catfish.
Okay, and
one year
re-releasing
I
them?
said if you brought in a tagged catfish, you got a prize, and I had a tagged fish brought in. It's pretty neat once you tag them too. You realize that catfish are territorial. We had one caught in Johnson County, and I tagged it and released it right here. It swam back to Johnson County within a month. It was caught, and they called me because the tags have got information on the side. Say, hey, I just caught this catfish. I said, where are you at? It was within 100 yards of where
It went right
originally
back
caught.
home.
It went home. I was amazed at that.
That is
Wildlife
amazing.
guy who I go out and shock with, he was like, what? I was like, yeah, man, I had no idea. He said, I didn't either, because they don't.
Do you do that every year? Because
Not
that would
every
be
year.
fun to do. Like even if Wildlife Commission would just give you the tags.
Well, these
Because then
fish
you
we're
can
catching are
really.
invasive. All
Okay.
your flatheads, all your blue, and even your channel cat are invasive to our river system.
Oh.
So they're not too worried about the tracking of an invasive species.
Well, I know, but I think they might just give you some tags to play with.
Right.
And then you don't have to spend the money. But I'm thinking it would be kind of fun just to
neat.
release them all here and see
where they go.
they go back home. Like
Yep.
mark the tag where it was caught and then find out, how many go back home. Because I think it'd be surprising how many like dogs go back home. You let a dog.
And they find their way home.
Yeah, as a hunting dog, you let it
Homeward
go
bound
in the
or
middle of
whatever activity,
nowhere and
right.
it finds its way home.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. And how much does the tournament run?
It's $50.
Okay.
40 of that is complete payout. We do a polygraph at the end.
Okay.
For the top 3 finishers, because that is the fishermen's and the anglers'
Yes,
money.
yes.
So I do polygraph, so it's $50.
We do that in
but
Florida, too.
10 of that goes to my polygraph fees. It doesn't
Okay.
cover it by any means, because your possibility of running unknown, if somebody fails it, you keep having to run till you get the top 3.
Okay.
But 4th and 5th place are not polygraphed. Their prizes out of my pocket. It's
Okay.
cheaper for me to just give you a prize
And
and pay for
not
that
deal with
polygraph
that.
fee. So, but I do polygraph
Okay.
the participants.
One year, our top person in a tournament that has over 420 boats failed the polygraph. He didn't.
wow.
He didn't even have a fishing license. Like Fishing Game took his license, so he fails the polygraph. And then I think to myself, you've got to move 15 places. Like all those prizes now have to trickle,
Bump around.
which is almost impossible once you give the prizes out. That's,
Right, well,
that's difficult.
Praise the
That
Lord,
is
this one, I
difficult.
don't want to knock on wood. This will be our 5th year running it with
50 bucks
polygraphs.
is not much to enter a
We have-
tournament either.
We have
So,
yet to have anybody fail our polygraph.
oh, good,
So,
good, good, good.
But we are opening up to another county this year. We're opening up to Craven County.
Okay.
I know I spelled Johnson County wrong, but hey,
Oh, you did?
we opened up to Craven County. It's always been Wayne, Lenore, and Johnson County.
Okay.
This year we open it up.
They can. Do they have to stay within those 4 counties
Those
as
4
far as
counties.
fishing?
That's
Okay.
pretty much what the Neuse River is.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty much it. But if you can get to a creek from
Yeah.
the Neuse River, it's fishable.
It's fishable.
And we cover all those bases in our polygraph. at the end.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I think we're ready to go.